man, that can set you apart. The people reading the response to your one-star reviews, those are qualified buyers. Take that as an opportunity to prove who you are to those qualified buyers that are reading your responses to the negative reviews. Are you wrapping cars for 12 hours a day, every day? Is your social life non-existent? Are you barely making enough money to get by, if that? Are you drained, burned out, wondering how long you can keep this up? Well, so are we. My name is Andrew Banks.
And I'm Tanner Banks. And this is the WrapOps Podcast, where we don't really care about which car is the coolest one in the industry to wrap or the trendiest film on the market. This is a podcast about building a wrap business that actually works for you. We're here to help you dial in the business side of your business and your wrap shop because you deserve a break, and we're going to help you do just that.
What's up, guys? Andrew Banks back again with WrapOps on a solo episode. Today, I want to talk to you about, man, as a business owner, probably one of the toughest things that you will have to go through. Doesn't matter how good you are, we all have to go through it. And that is when someone leaves you a one-star review. Sometimes it's totally unfair. Even worse, sometimes it's inaccurate. And sometimes it might be accurate. But regardless of how you feel, that one-star review, man, it hurts. It stings. And you are not alone. I want to kind of stress the feeling here to these business owners that I'm talking to today, that your response can actually build trust, not destroy it. So let's figure out how to turn those one-star reviews into a positive thing, and how a calm professional framework to handle bad reviews without damaging your brand. So right off the rip is that emotional gut punch. Man, that stings. And kind of in entrepreneurship and business, as you will, we're all going to get knocked down. I can tell you personally, one-star reviews, there's not much that knocks me down, but a one-star review, that hurts. That cuts deep, especially with the brand, the reputation, everything that we're trying to build here from a culture standpoint. Man, one-star reviews hurt. You can hate me, but let's talk privately, figure out how we can work through that, right? So that one-star review, that's very public, and it stings. The last thing we should do is probably take all of that emotion and immediately hit them back with "F you, screw you, it's your fault," right? So that's kind of step one in that emotional gut punch is, let's make sure that we're acting logically, not emotionally. And I know this is out there. This is what I'm getting woo woo on you, but we got to breathe. So kind of anytime you're feeling heightened emotion, anytime you got a lot of stress, just breathe. That real classic, 4 seconds in through the nose, hold it for 4 seconds, and 4 seconds out through the mouth. That really, I'm a wrap shop owner. I'm not a scientist, but that doing that repetitively a few times really does help that heart rate come back to a normal state. And one-star reviews, I got to do that a little bit. I can't just do one breath and come back to neutral. I got to do a few. I got to walk away. I got to take a lap. But that initial emotional gut punch, man, that's rough. And I feel you. Everyone, like, I get it. You can't please everyone. That's okay. But man, a one-star review, that hurts. That cuts real deep. And the biggest thing that we can do to manage that one-star review that we're talking about specifically today is do not respond until you've done some breathing, until you are acting logically in your response and not emotionally. That is really kind of step one. Is you got to check yourself first. Is you got to be calm. You got to breathe. That affects the team too. So if you're outrageous, if you're punching holes in the wall, if you're screaming, you're taking it out on everyone else, that's going to bring down your team. So if you can't do it for yourself, do it for your team. Do it for the ones around you. Remove yourself from the situation. Take some breaths. Quite literally, that 4 seconds. I know that's a little woo woo, but man, it works. It honestly goes all the way back to my McDonald's days. Not one-star review related, but just when that heightened emotion, the stress or whatever comes in, this is kind of a tool that works for me. It's worked for me for a decade or more at this point, is in those small moments where I just get overwhelmed, and a 1-star review like that, that'll overwhelm me. Just breathe. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. That really is a core thing. In regards to that 1-star review, the kind of next step, we haven't responded yet. All we've done is breathe, kind of control ourselves, bring us back down to kind of, a regulated heart rate, as you will. And sometimes that's the next day. That's totally fair. We get it, understood. I feel you that you might need the next till the next day to even think about responding or getting to whatever you're going to do next about this review. Is breathe, get yourself to neutral. um, Man, I cannot stress how important that is, just in business, but especially when responding to a customer like that just rubbed your name through the mud publicly. Is you got to make sure you're not reacting emotionally but logically. So got to breathe, get that heart rate back. And then this is the hardest pill of them all to swallow, is evaluating the core issue. So if you guys have read Extreme Ownership by Jocko, it is a great book, definitely worth the read. And it is kind of the core of that book is taking responsibility for everything, honestly, even if it's your manager or your boss or someone that traditionally speaking you would throw shade and throw blame to for whatever the problem is. The kind of my core takeaway from that book was identifying the percentage. I'm a big numbers and percentages and stuff like that type of guy. Identify the percentage of the problem that is yours to own. So, in regards to that 1-star review, it might be the customer's fault, but it might only be 80%, 90% the customer's fault. So, taking a moment to breathe, self evaluate. Maybe it's not you personally. Most of the time, it's not you personally. It is some form of process, some form of system. There is maybe it's just a cut expectation that you led the customer to believe, but there's 10% of almost every issue that's your fault. And that it's kind of step two. And we haven't responded to this Google review yet. We are just self evaluating what part of the process, what part of the system, what part of the customer interaction can you own that got that 1-star review. I understand that 1-star review is probably irrational. It's not right. The customer's a lunatic, but was there 10% of that problem that was your fault? And this is for the 1-star reviews that are actual customers here. So that 1-star review that isn't a real customer, or it doesn't even have a description, just 1-star review, like, I mean, those suck, but there's no real kind of solution there. I mean, there is, but those don't cut as deep as the ones that are real customers that were just unhappy with you, that you got to really self evaluate and figure out, um, where we're at within the process. Was it a misunderstanding, or was there an actual failure done? Um, and really just try to get clear on what was clearly our fault and what was clearly the customer being irrational on this 1-star review that we're talking about, and understand that there's a percentage of the issue that is probably legitimate, and let's figure out how to improve, take it as an opportunity to get better as a shop, as an operation. And now we're going to get to the part of it's time to actually respond to this 1-star review. And man, that is an opportunity. You have to see that as an opportunity, as tough of a pill that is to swallow. Hopefully at this point you've done some breathing. You're not emotional anymore. We're thinking logically here. And um, let's face it, when's the last time you even went to a restaurant or any type of establishment, done business with any type of business where you're looking at their Google reviews? If you're anything like me, you do one of two things. You either don't read a single review and you just look at the number. Is it a 4.8? Is it 4.9? What is the 4 point whatever? And if it's not, in the fours or whatever, then you're probably not going to do business with them. So that's kind of step one. You're not even reading reviews. You're just, straight to the average number there. And then in this, as far as I keep emphasizing, like, let's spin this as a positive thing. If you're like me, when you see a business that has, I don't know, 100 reviews or something like that, and they're all 5 stars, man, I'm skeptical. Like, did you pay for these? Or did you pay to get your bad ones removed? Like, there something's fishy here. How is anyone in business for any length of time and not come across a bad review or a customer that had a bad experience and posted it online? So, that being said, if you are not just looking at the number, then you're just like me. And the very next thing you do is you bypass all those 5 star reviews because you don't even really care at this point, or you're filtering by those 1 star reviews. And the most important thing, in my opinion, and based off of the way that I would Google search and decide where I'm going to spend my money, is I actually don't care much about what the people are saying on the public review. I'm going straight for how does the company respond to that review? How did they handle the situation? And man, that can set you apart because those are the real purchasers, in my opinion. You're not going to go look a business up, filter into their reviews, go to the 1 stars, read that company's response if you are not a qualified buyer. Like that's doing some legwork. They're doing some research on you. The people reading the response to your 1 star reviews, those are qualified buyers. So this is a very important um, kind of thing to nail this response. So I put a little bit of a framework together for it. Step one is just validate their experience in some way. It can be short and sweet and to the point, just a simple, I'm sorry to hear you've had this experience. Like, apologize off the rip that was never your intention. And, you hate to hear that this is how they feel. So validate them. Don't go into like, you're stupid. Your feelings don't matter. We're not middle schoolers, so let's be adults here and validate their experience. And then the next one would just be to kind of show your values, show that you're wanting to make it right, that you take pride in the quality of your work, that you try to do everything you can to make the situation right. Again, that can be short and sweet. Obviously, every response, you don't want it to look like a ChatGPT answer of, here's 3 canned sentences. Try to tailor it to the response. Show some personality and some human to it. Like that company response to a 1 star review. Nobody wants to see the corporate answer. They want to see the personal response to that. They want to see that someone left a 1 star review and that business personally responded. Not some PR answer, but I hear you, I'm sorry, we try to do things correctly kind of way. And then some reinsurance and offer some next steps. Like, we'd love the chance to correct this. We'd love the chance to discuss this further. Maybe even at this point, maybe you got to defend yourself a little bit. And this is where someone that's like reading those 1 star reviews, if if they're just the rap failed, the rap did this, whatever, respond and say, we, you know, I hear you. Hate to hear that you've had this experience. We try to stand behind our work at all times possible. And as soon as you send in the pictures of it failing, we immediately and very promptly got you back on the schedule, to no cost to you to rewrap any of the issues that occurred for you. Something along those lines that kind of helps defend yourself publicly as well. That you did do what you would expect a good quality wrap shop to do, which is, when vinyl fails, you take that job back, you fix it, you make it right. So reassuring them, and then also to just do that extra, please give us a call, an email, so that we can resolve this and make it right. I think those kind of that framework of validating their experience, kind of showing your value and what you have maybe already tried to do, and then just reassure them that, and not even to them, like let's break the framework that you're responding to that person that gave you the 1 star review. You are responding publicly so that everyone that is a qualified buyer researching your 1 star reviews is reading. So kind of take it from that framework as let's remove yourself emotionally from the situation and logically pay attention to what your audience is, because it's not it yes, you're talking to that one individual that left you a one-star review, and let's cross our fingers and um, pray and everything that that person that left you a one-star review publicly is going to respond and let you make it right. But let's be real. At this point, they've already publicly bashed you. They are already on the emotional track of F you. They're probably not going to take you up on any of it to make things right. If they actually wanted to work with you to make it right, they probably would have emailed, called, or texted you. They probably wouldn't have just went to a public one-star review to stab you. So let's be real here. Your response is for the public audience. It's not for that individual, although that is who you're talking to in the review. It's the public that's reading that that really helps build that trust and that character as a shop. So like you know, take that as an opportunity to prove who you are to those qualified buyers that are reading your responses to the negative reviews, just as much as they're paying attention to that overall number. Hopefully this one-star review isn't like your first review and your overall rating is in a one. There is a whole nother section to that. To the best way to handle a one-star review is to get 100 5-star reviews. And um, that really, that's a whole nother topic, whole nother podcast of how are you fostering those good reviews, when are you plugging in the ask to try to optimize and get as many of those good positive reviews as possible, because that's really the best way to combat a one-star review, is to flood it with 5-star reviews. But take that one-star review as an opportunity to build trust and prove to the world that you guys are not just some corporate giant, but you are a personal local wrap shop. I've been in this industry for a decade. I go to all the conferences I can. I love talking to wrap shop owners, and if there's anything that we have in common, is that we are not McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, and Chick-fil-A. We are individual mom and pop shops. We have real people, a ton of heart behind that brand. So let's make it heard when we inevitably get that negative review on how we respond, that we are a personal mom and pop shop with a lot of heart and wanting to do right by everybody, because if you wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you weren't like that. So I know you are. And now let's think about that one-star review and how we're going to handle it internally. um, Honestly, kind of that same framework. So let's not act in emotion, let's be calm, let's think about how we're going to present this to the team. I would assume your team feels that emotion too. I mean, if you're a small, kind of tight knit 10-person shop, 20-person shop, 2-person shop, those reviews are felt. That wasn't some generic customer that you probably don't know. That customer probably talked to more than half, if not interacted with everybody on your team. So that they feel that one-star review too. So you can't take that lightly when you address that to the team. And have some humility. If that was a process or a system, or even you own your personal issue that got that review, um, address that to the team. Be like, yeah, 80% of this was the customer's a D-bag or whatever, whatever vulgar term you want to refer to as the customer privately with your team. But understand that 10% of that problem was an internal process or problem, and this is how we're going to fix that moving forward. Unfortunately, we had to learn this lesson on a public review, but nonetheless, I think the biggest thing you can frame that to the team is, we'll take ownership for the 10% of the issue that's ours, and this is how we're going to fix that moving forward. Get that buy-in of um, we're going to get better, and no one's perfect, but we're going to pursue it, and we're going to get better every day, and we're going to train better up front, um, to try to make sure that we don't have issues like this with any other customer. And you just got to move forward. The power of professionalism is, take that gut punch, learn from it, and move on. So understand, kind of my closing remarks here is, every review even a bad one, is building. It's an opportunity to reinforce that culture and the core values that you have, both of yourself and your team. And your response speaks a lot louder than their complaint. So how you respond is equally, if not, in my opinion, more important than the one-star review. Um, Altogether. And try to make sure that that review isn't just clapbacks and you guys are just throwing shade back and forth, but try to be professional, try to be personable within it, and understand that maybe that person that you're responding to isn't going to read it because they just hate your guts at this point, but the world is going to read it. Any qualified buyers are reading your response. So, um, it's important. Spend some time on crafting that response, revising that response. Any of our responses to the negative reviews, honestly, like just to give you like real talk time, takes a few hours. And probably, I don't think I've responded to a negative review without 4 revisions at least. Type it out, think about it, take a breath, come back in an hour, reread it. I don't like that. That was a subtle stab. Probably shouldn't have thrown a stab in there. Um, and yeah, make sure it's right. It's important. Responses to the one-star reviews is an opportunity, so don't take it lightly. And lastly, if this helped you or you think this could help another entrepreneur or wrap shop owner, please share it. We want to hear from you as well. So on top of, what am I supposed to plug in here, right? Like, subscribe, follow us for our next episode. We're going to be pumping out consistent episodes like this, and we want to hear from you. So go to the website. You can give us some topics you want to hear us talk about for sure. We are actively living and breathing our shop every week. So it kind of gives us some good internal content and endless things to talk about, but we want to hear what you want us to talk about. We want to talk to you. And please, please, please like, subscribe, send this to a friend, and, shrug it off, guys. One-star review isn't that bad. Thanks for tuning in.